Welcome to Fluido Moments, our podcast series where we will talk about what's it like to be a Fluidian, what we do every day, and what our culture is all about. This is your backstage pass to all things Fluido. Okay, so welcome to Fluido Moments, guys. This is our podcast series on all things Fluido, our culture and the way we work. And today, you're maybe the first developers I've talked to now in this series. So that's going to be our topic today. And I'm going to let you introduce yourselves in just a moment. But before we go there, my name is Pauliina Löytty. You both know that, but for the listeners, head of people and culture. And let's just get to what we're going to be talking about today. So maybe we start with you, Neha. Maybe if you can tell me your story, how did you end up at Fluido, and what do you do here?
Yeah. So hi, I'm Neha, and I am a developer here. So I have been in the IT world for almost like 9+ years now, working as a developer. And I started my career with backend Oracle database programming, and before moving to Java and then eventually to Salesforce. So my husband was actually here before for his assignment, and I just followed him. But eventually I was actually on and off. And then let's say I just fell in love with Finland. And then I decided to move here. So I heard about Fluido from a friend who was already working at that point of time here. So, and then rest is the history.
And you've been here, how long have you been here with us now already?
With Fluido, I have been over 2 years now. Okay. And in Finland, overall, I would say more than 4 years.
Yeah? Yeah. Still liking it.
Yeah. Yeah, still liking it.
Good, yeah, because the weather sometimes can get to you a little bit. Yeah, yeah. All right, okay, well, welcome.
Thank you.
And then Gabriel, you've been here forever, haven't you, at Fluido?
Well, not forever, almost. Gabriel Takei, and yes, I started in Fluido almost 4 years ago as a developer, and I was focusing on Lightning development mostly. And that time, Lightning was really new. No one knew anything about it, so I kind of picked it up, and people started to ask a lot of questions always from me. So then I became this Lightning development practice lead, and basically like taking care that our developers are up to date with the Lightning development, and sometimes offering also like trainings for our customers as well. And then recently I also became a team lead for developers. So I have like 8 developers now in my team. And I actually was working after I graduated as a BBA. I was working in one Finnish construction company as a project manager in IT. I was doing that for a few years, but I all the time felt like I want to do something creative. And also like there was like, nothing, the outcome of what I did, you couldn't really see it or touch it or anything. So I wanted to do something creative. So I decided to go back to school, and I wanted to get papers for engineering. So during my studies, I was in exchange in Japan, and I came back to Finland with a wife. So when
smart move to go on exchange.
Yeah. So then I went back to school, and I told my teacher, I think I need to find some job so I can give some food for my wife. So he told me that, Fluido needs very good developers. Then I didn't know anything about Fluido at that point. So then I just applied here, and ever since then I have been here.
Here we are. Yeah, because we have this cooperation with the school where you came from, and I think every year we get really good guys coming in.
Yeah.
From there, and you're working a little bit with the school as well, aren't you?
Well, sometimes, yeah.
Yeah. So now you have to educate me a little bit further, because I'm not a developer. And you mentioned backend, and you mentioned Java, and you mentioned Lightning.
Yeah.
So what on earth kind of thing. So tell me a little bit about, because I know I've been here long enough to know a little bit, but I know it's these different kind of things. So tell me about like, what are you talking about?
So it's mostly technology.
Okay, so got it.
So it's Oracle was a database platform. So and the PLSQL was the programming language that we used to build, and with Java we built on-premise applications, and then came Salesforce, which is a platform already where you can work. So it opens up a lot of horizons for us developers to build something custom, which goes beyond the standard limitations. So yeah, that's pretty much it in the gist.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah. So Salesforce, a platform, and then you can build something. But Salesforce doesn't use Java. It's the Apex, right?
Yes. It's the Apex language.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. And then what's this Lightning development?
Salesforce has this new user interface called Lightning, and they have basically their own framework for that. So when developers build user interfaces, they we call it like front end development. So when there are different kind of frameworks nowadays, and so this Lightning has its own framework. So I'm like into that.
You're into that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you're what's the hoodie that you have, the Lightning?
Yes. So that is a part of the Lightning Champions program. It doesn't really have anything to do with Lightning development, but Salesforce has this different kind of champions programs for different fields. So Lightning is like one part, and basically being an active member, doing commitment for the community, those kind of things are like part of the being a Lightning champion.
And you got a really cool hoodie out of that as well.
Yes, it's a shiny Lightning logo on the back.
That's the one I'm talking about. So I noticed that, and that's why. Yeah. So then all these different kinds of things. Can you tell me a little bit about what do you do? You mentioned the new horizons and the going beyond what's in the basic setup of Salesforce and so forth. So tell me a little bit about what's your typical day like, or what kind of things do you do as a developer?
So as a developer, I spend most of my day coding. So that's the basic. But then I do spend a lot of time finding solution or working on solutions for the problems that we face in day-to-day in a project. And and apart from that, I go back home and I hit the gym.
So code, problem solving,
and gym.
Home and gym. Yes, that sounds like a good
day.
Good day. Yeah. Anything cool in particular that you're working on right now?
Right now, I would say I'm working on a solution designing, which is basically enhancing the performance of the existing org. And that's pretty challenging because you have to go into very granular level and identify the existing issues of the org and try to figure out a solution and to implement in a best way. So that is the interesting thing on my plate right now.
Yeah. And do you work alone, or do you have like a group of people around you?
I do have a group of people supporting me, and because I'm new to this project and you don't always know everything. There are challenges, but then there are people who always are there to help you out and understand clearing your roadblocks.
Yeah, helping out. So how big is the team about? And this particular, I know we have.
So in the team, we have like about 2 developers onshore and a couple of developers, I think, off nearshore. And then we have the solution design owner and technical design owners. So they help us with the understanding where we hit the roadblocks and clear the issues and confusions that we have, and trying to understand the functionality basically, because it's a huge org.
Yeah.
So you don't know everything and pieces of the org. So those are the challenges that we have on a regular basis.
Yeah, sounds like a little bit of detective work.
Yeah,
also.
sort of.
Yeah. How about you, Gabriel? What's the coolest thing you've done, or what's a cool thing you're working on right now?
There are so many cool things.
I know, actually.
And like my day is never the same, especially when working in many projects same time. But I'm mostly working on community projects. So those are kind of like, if you're new to Salesforce, you can imagine that it's like a website that is running on Salesforce platform. So it's really cool because you can do a lot of different kind of user interfaces, and nothing is ever same. Every customer, they have always their own like a look and feels and styles and designs. And it's always a bit challenging, but it's always fun. And it's maybe, in my opinion, the best part of Salesforce, because it's so different from rest of the platform.
Yeah, the communities and that. Yeah. I hear a lot of, like, you two seem to get kicks out of things being difficult and problem solving. And so none of this every day is the same. I enjoy my routine. Am I right?
Yeah.
It's I think if every day would be not challenging and just constantly easy tasks, then it might become a bit boring also.
Yeah. I agree. Yeah.
So you kind of get this feeling of success when you solve something hard or do some challenging things. Yeah.
How do you celebrate that?
I go home and spend time with my son.
High five with the baby.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. How about you? How do you celebrate?
I go get a coffee.
Oh, you go get a coffee. Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah. And then on to the next problem.
Yeah, on to the next problem.
Or the next success or whatever. Yeah. Okay. So a little bit about the team. What kind of I'll start with you, Neha. What kind of like team members do you have, like the background? Let's talk about developers now. I know we have, architects and business consultants and project managers and so forth, but the developers in particular, what kind of backgrounds do your colleagues have?
So
that
that I know of.
Yeah.
So I think most of them are coming from the Salesforce background because as developers, it's sort of important to know the tool that you work on.
Yeah.
And so I mean, it's multicultural also because there are people from India, there are people from Asia, and also Finnish people. So it's a really mix of everything, I would say. And they have their own expertise. They bring their own capabilities with them and their own experience of their previous projects. So that helps a lot when you're working in a team because you don't have all the experience, and combined as a team with all these experiences, that helps a lot in taking the project forward. I feel so.
Yeah, diversity in that respect is also good, because you have the projects, you have industry knowledge, you have cultural knowledge, and so forth. And then how many women do we have? Have you counted ever? I actually developers. I haven't counted. I know.
Yes, I think there are about 35 developers, female developers in total. Out of the total, you mean in the org, in our company, right?
Yeah.
So I think we have like about 95 developers in total, and out of them, about 35 of them are like female.
Yeah. That goes about, we've got the same ratio for the whole company. 1/3 is women. So I think it's a typical thing for the IT industry.
Yep.
But of course, it's always nice to even have that angle also, because we look at things differently with all of the experiences that we have, whether it's cultural or being a woman or a man or
I would love to see more women in working as developers, because I feel from where back home in India, it's not very uncommon to have a lot of female developers. But when I came here, I felt this gap a bit and I also got asked this question once, to be frank. Somebody asked me, how do you manage being a female and being a developer? So I was taken aback by that question, because I never expected that kind of question. So Then I started to realize that we do have, the ratio is a little less for the female developers here. So I would really see more females coming up and working as in the developer role.
Yeah, yeah. So maybe after this podcast, we'll have some more applications.
Let's hope so.
Actually, I'm also involved with our recruitments and in interviews as well. So only this week I interviewed 3 girls. So
awesome.
So it's happening. Yeah, it's happening. Yeah. So I was this is such a nice segue. It's exactly as we rehearsed. So I was going to ask about the recruiting because I know you are involved with the recruiting. Well, first of all, with us being such an international group, we don't always even know from the names if people are women or men. So we just look at the CVs and so forth. But what are we looking for when we hire developers?
I think most important is the personality of the person. Like the skills it's not like the top one thing. But when you see the person and his or her personality, and you know that person can learn fast, then that is, in my opinion, the most important thing. And we've had sometimes even a bit weird like events or places from where I have recruited people. Like one time I was in this one festival. Okay, I was a bit drunk that time, but I went into toilet and I met this one guy. So I don't remember. I think I complimented his hair or said something about his hair, and he was brushing his hair. And then we had a long talk, and I remember I was quite passionately telling him about Fluido because when he told me that he's studying IT, so he's from Americas.
Yeah.
And then in the end, I told him, like, you should apply to Fluido. And then after 1 year, he applied, and he's now here.
Here he is. Yes, I know exactly who you're talking to or talking about. Yeah. So you, I know, keep your eyes open, not only at rock festivals, but also or heavy metal. Which one was it? Heavy metal festival, probably.
It was this Nummirok, so it's in the middle of forest, and it's quite it's quite heavy.
Yeah. So and then going back to this learnability and how we look at we look at for the motivation, the cultural fit. If you will like working at Fluido, and then this learnability, how you learn things and so forth. So how do you test that for developers?
Well, usually in our recruitment process, we have this after first interview. We have usually this task that we give out for the candidate, and then they will usually take 1 or 2 weeks to do that task, and then they will present their solution to us, and then we kind of get the feeling if that person has been able to learn the necessary skills in that short time.
Yeah, for the case.
Yeah.
Now, anything you want to tell somebody who might be watching this or listening to this and wants to become a developer at Fluido? What's the extra thing you can put into that case that'll, make you say that, okay, good, this is a good candidate? Without giving too much away, because I know there's a couple of things you're looking for. But
if you can put also a little bit extra effort to put something your own on top of the table. So okay, we give kind of a requirements what we want you to accomplish.
Yep.
And then you bring your solution. But if it has something extra added into that, then that is always that wow effect,
Yeah. So a little bit of heart and a little bit of mind and a little bit of extra. Yeah. Did you do that?
I remember mine.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think it was pretty good. Not to give away so much.
We don't want to give out too many secrets, but it is more than when you're talking to somebody. You see much more when you actually do something and present, and sometimes you can't even convey what you know.
Yep. And but you can impress yourself as well sometimes. Yeah.
Oh, I like that. Yeah, impress yourself also. Yeah. And then we also have people who are new to the platform. So is that a way to also maybe help them get to know the...
Yeah, there's basically, in the tasks, we usually try to bring it up that how they can learn themselves. And there is this Trailhead.com that is a Salesforce learning platform. Mm-hmm. And it's maybe the best way how to really fast learn the necessary things for the task. And we also try to kind of point out which things you should try to learn from the Trailhead.
Yeah, because not all developers by far actually have a Salesforce background.
Yeah,
right?
Almost none. Especially the developers that are coming from Finland, they are usually just straight from school or something. So they don't even know what is Salesforce.
Yeah.
But it's amazing how people are learning so fast.
Yeah.
Anyway, to do those tasks in so short time.
Yeah. And then we do have a large group, of course, of people who are not straight from school, but also not necessarily Salesforce background as a developer. So again, to help somebody, what do you need to know? I'm going to ask you because I feel I've been talking. So Neha, what do people need to, apart from this motivation and wanting to be here and all of that, what would be a good kind of thing to know if you want to apply to Fluido to become a developer?
I think Salesforce platform itself is very empowering. And as Gabriel mentioned already, the Trailhead platform is really very helpful. I think to kickstart with Salesforce, is the best place you go to. And you learn a lot by just doing those trailheads. So I think that's really helpful from my perspective as a developer, because if you don't have any background and you just start reading those trailheads, they are really informative and it's quite good, well written and well scripted, I think.
Yeah. And how about the developer skills? Because if I go to trailhead.com and look at those developer things, I'm not quite sure if I would be very much helped with my background, because I have an admin background and other stuff. But if you have 5 years of experience in development, what kind of background as a developer is good to have, like
for Salesforce?
Or just to be part of Fluido to start with then adding on the Salesforce.
So I'll speak from my own experience because I was already working in Java. So that was really helpful for me to switch to Salesforce because it's object-oriented programming at the end of the day. So it is really helpful to transform your career into Salesforce. So
that's.
I could say that if you know any programming language, it's quite easy and fast.
Yes, I agree. Yeah.
Any way to learn anything in Salesforce, but if you have a background in Java, it's really fast to learn the Salesforce Apex language. And if you have any background with front-end development, standard HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, that is also really helpful.
Yeah. And then you can just add on top of that.
Yes.
And then, okay. All right. Well, because I'm learning, and you guys know I'm not a developer, so I need to ask all of these questions. So now I want to ask a little bit, what have you learned at Fluido? What's anything?
Oh, a lot of things. But I think if I have to mention one thing, I would say I've learned to appreciate the difference in culture a lot while working here in Fluido, because I've spent most of my life in India. So I didn't have so much exposure to multicultural environment, even though we have a lot of cultural differences in India as well. But on the whole, it's common culture, I think, for India. But Fluido gave me that platform of a multicultural environment. So it's like every second person you talk to in a day there's a chance they're not from the same country, some not from the same culture. So you get to learn the differences in culture when you interact with people every day. And you see the differences. I've learned to see the differences at least. And I've learned to appreciate them more in my career in Fluido here.
Yeah. So that's nice. How about you?
I think I have learned to trust people, which is also our value. And I I have by myself, usually I have always been that kind of person that I want to do things my way. I don't trust that someone can make something good. So I used to be with that kind of mentality, but in Fluido, I have actually really learned to trust others. So I can trust that my colleague next to me will do his part in the project, so that whatever he makes will work with the part that I do. So I don't have to really worry that I need to do everything. So I think that is like the biggest thing.
Yeah, that sounds nice, and bringing it down to our value as well, and our values and what we do. All right, so now the last question. So, and I asked this from everyone. So, what's your Fluido moment?
Okay, that's a good question. So let me think. So I remember one moment, one instance, which stuck with me. So it was one day when I was working in office a bit late in the evening, and Kai, our beloved CEO, came up to my desk and said something. And it took me by surprise because I was so focused because there was some issue and I was working and I was so focused in it. So, and I got startled anyway. But the point is, Kai being so super busy himself, making out time, finding the time to actually go and speak to his employees is, I think, just blows my mind because it's not you see every day. So that was I would say that will be my Fluido moment.
Yeah. Oh, that's nice.
And I think I've seen him, not just with me, I've seen him do with everybody else. Whenever he finds any time, he takes that opportunity.
He does.
He does. Yeah, I just love that fact too.
Yeah. Good. How about you? What's your Fluido moment?
I think there's no specific one. But also like a bit like Neha said, and also like everything that our colleagues do. But if I try to think like what has been in what I do, the best moment, there is no best moments, but maybe best feelings are when all the knowledge that during the years I have gathered here in Fluido, and when I share that knowledge to my colleagues or to customers, and when I see their faces and I can see that, wow, these people are really listening to me. And then I get that kind of feeling like, oh, I must be pretty great because I got all this information and knowledge like in this short time in Fluido. So those are kind of like happy moments.
Yeah. Sounds good. All right. Well, we actually also have a website for this podcast series, fluidomoments.com. So you can go and check out this particular episode and then all the other clips that we have from there. Thank you very much for taking the time from your busy schedules to be here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Really enjoyed our chats, and I learned something new as well. So that was good. That was good. Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you.